Welcome to the Runner Dudes podcast. Everyone is welcome. Runners are welcome. Walkers are welcome. The running curious are welcome. We're going to widen the door to running and soften the impact for anyone willing to lace up and show up. Today can be the day you take the first steps towards physical, mental, and spiritual well-being and become the person you were intended to be. We hope to inform, inspire, listen, learn, and help you start your own running journey, all while being moderately funny and low-key entertaining. Let's go, baby. Shout out to our Willow Window in the Willow Window studio. So thankful for Jonathan letting us use this. And also want to shout out Jason Grider. That's my dog right there. And so he is the one that told us about this opportunity to use the studio. Express Footwear
and Running.
We got Jimbo back here. He's not mic'd up, but there he
Sight
is.
and Sound Creative.
Sound Creative. Runner Dudes podcast, Runner Dude Coaching. And today we've got Chad Minot and, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Minot.
You know, I'm going to go with Minot. I think that's
great. Go with
correct.
it. That's okay. I'm not really sure why we pronounce it that way anyway. So.
That sounds better. We're going to change to that.
That's okay.
Chad Minot, and then that does not roll off the tongue. And Jeff Reese. See how much easier that was? I'm your Chad Reese.
I lived with it for 38 years.
And they are from El Puente, and that is a local Hispanic community center here in Putnam County, and we're going to get into all of the things with that. But as we start off every episode with a question to Dusty, and the question is, if you were put on a 5K course with Cole Hawker, what type of head start would you need to feel like you had a chance to beat him back to the finish line?
So, best to understand his 5K time. Best 5K
See what kind of research you've done.
Is sub 14. Is that right?
It's sub 13.
Oh my goodness.
12:53 5K time.
Like probably essentially on my best day, I need at least 28 minutes maybe.
Do you remember the show Pinks?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, how many car lengths they would give you. So you would basically need that first mile.
I need the first mile, maybe even more than that. I mean.
Yes, because at that point, you're still talking 6-minute mile. 6 minutes, six-something minute.
That's tough. I would say at least 28 minutes.
And I think there's so much anxiety to think that now Cole Hawker's on the course.
I'm sweating thinking about that right now, that we're actually going to race.
You know, and that, to me, that is such an interesting concept. And there's always a reason behind the question for Dusty. And it leads into El Puente's The Great Chase Race. Mm-hmm. And so Chad approached me about their race idea. And so I'm going to let you, first of all, let's do this. Introduce yourselves.
My name is Chad Minot.
How'd you pronounce that?
Minot.
Minot?
Yeah. Well,
Minot?
My parents always said Minot. That's what I said. But you spell it with an A.
Minot.
So my daughter, who's learning to read,
right?
It's M-Y-N-A-T-T,
you have to lie to your daughter about it.
And she says, our name is Minot. So she says Minot.
Okay, Minot. I've got a friend whose name is Cameron Stinnett or Stinnett. And I don't think he knows what's the correct pronunciation. I don't think anybody. Historians don't know what's the correct.
Sure.
Chad.
Yes.
So tell us about yourself, where you from, all the things. Tell us about your family, the cutest family on the planet, besides maybe Jeff's.
Oh, well, there you go. So I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, not far from here. I met my wife. My wife is from Cookeville. Mm-hmm. But we met while we were living in the Dominican Republic. So we weren't both living. I had moved there as a missionary. She came down to visit, and then she moved there to be a missionary as well. And that's where we fell in love and started dating. And then we came back to the States after a few years of living there. And we still work for that missions organization, which is part of what started El Puente. But we moved back to Cookeville, and we now have 2 kids, a 5 and a 7-year-old.
I feel like dating in the Dominican, like you were saving some money. Like the dates less expensive, right? You could maybe get
a lot to do down there, man.
What's a crab dinner costing?
Well, just
rice
getting anywhere, a rice and bean dinner. That's right. That's right. But we got to know each other. Dating. We got to know each other so well because there's more now, but there just wasn't a lot to do, and so people ask us, what did you do for a date?
Right.
You actually had to spend time together.
We
weren't-
spent a lot of
they
time
weren't
together. We
texting
talked.
or
We did-
chatting,
yeah. And so, actually, one of the first dates we went on, we drove 2.5 hours over the mountain just to go to Pizza Hut
A Pizza Hut in
in the Dominican.
unbelievable. What was that
yeah.
experience
Oh
like?
man, it was beautiful.
Was
I love
there-
Pizza Hut. I love pizza, and
So it was Pizza Hut pizza. It was the same
Oh
place. It was
yeah,
Pizza
oh
Hut
yeah,
pizza.
everything, and it's better there.
It was better.
because you never. Well,
Listen, I'm here
you
for
pick
it.
up a pizza there and put it next to a pizza.
Let's
it wouldn't
go.
be all the same, but when you don't have anything like that for a long time, and you
Yes.
get it, it's delicious.
Stuffed crust.
So,
Yes.
First date, drove over the mountain to go get a pizza.
But I feel like these days, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like a lot of places are out pizzaing the Hut.
Yeah.
But that didn't hit as hard. That joke didn't hit anywhere near as hard. That was gold, baby. Jimmy's not well back here.
It's just a pizza debate.
I delivered it so seriously.
Yeah, it was a little too
Pause
serious.
there. No silence. Everybody's like,
Yeah.
I'm not wrong either.
No, you're not wrong.
No, you're not.
Not wrong.
Hadn't had a Pizza Hut pizza in
Total here locally, but I
Go to
think
the Dominican and spend a few months without pizza,
pizza-
and then go get pizza
love it.
there.
that
and
pizza
it's
is out pizzaing all the
all of them. All of them.
and then and what year? What time frame we talking? When was this?
I lived in the Dominican. I moved there in 2009. Moved back. I guess Jill and I moved back in around 2015,
Yeah.
and then we moved to Cookeville in 2017.
Yes. You got two beautiful kids, the cutest. Tell us about them.
Pretty good. So Harper,
Yes.
she's our oldest.
Cutest.
She's 7.
Looks exactly like her mom.
She does.
Squinty eyes.
Beautiful, both of them.
She's cute.
She is. And she's a rock star
Yes. And a survivor.
and a survivor.
Let's
she's
go.
our miracle.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
our miracle. Dusty, I remember the first time I met you, and
Yep.
one of the first things we started talking about was traumatic brain injury, and
Yeah.
no, I'm there, and so Harper, we lived through the tornado. She
Yes.
had a traumatic brain injury, and now lives with it, and
Yeah.
not only lives with it, she thrives with it. She's smart,
Yes.
kind,
Yes.
just she's amazing.
She's great. And the
Yeah.
boy, he's
The boy
backs
is
me up.
he's he's nuts. He talks a lot. He's energetic, and
I love him.
he is all over the place.
When we came over to your house,
He's
for dinner,
all in.
Yeah, he's
on
all in.
everything he does. He's all in.
100%. And see, because I don't have kids, I don't have children. And I don't have a very good filter sometimes. And so he is like, he's jumping cars into my face, and he's talking, and he's right here. And I was like, hey, buddy, I don't have kids, and I don't like this. And he was like, okay, and then continued to jump cars into my face.
Whatever you're talking
Yeah,
about.
whatever
All
you're talking. I'm gonna
We
keep
came
this.
over to your house to swim, and
Yes.
he's just diving in, splashing
Yes.
Fiji like crazy. I'm like, dude,
Yes.
you're never gonna let us come back
No,
here.
no,
You won't.
no.
Good
Hey.
one-time event.
Pool's open. So we just get the weather would participate. The pool's back, baby. We're back.
Okay.
And we're back. But that's great. And so we have gotten to know you guys from the Exceptional Being. You have been wonderful supporters of the Exceptional Being. We can't tell you how much we appreciate that. And then, we'll talk about the 5K. Jeff,
Yeah.
tell us about yourself,
So,
my dude.
Chad's a few years older than I, but I grew up in Chattanooga, and we knew each other growing up, family, friends, and I graduated from the lovely Red Bank High School, class of 08, and moved to Cookeville to go to school at Tennessee Tech, and then moved to the Dominican. Again, I knew Chad had been to the Dominican a lot, moved down to teach and work with teenagers there at a school that we had. Lived there for about 6.5 years, and my wife, Jordan, we met at Tech. As I like
great.
to tell people, she is great.
Yeah.
She knew of me when we were in high school because she grew up in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
I didn't know of her. Now this is on a podcast, so she's going to love that.
Yeah.
But we met at Tech, and we long distance. Our relationship was not smooth, I guess one could say. Maybe rocky would be other words. But we fought through it and figured it out long distance, and we got married. And then she joined me down there for a few years, and we were trying to kind of figure out what we were doing next. And Chad and Jill had just moved to Cookeville pretty recently to that point. and they had talked about opening like a central office for the missions organization. So we said, all right, we know Cookeville. We love our parents. If you ever listen to this podcast, shout out to y'all. Y'all are great. But we didn't want to move to Chattanooga. And so we kind of landed in Cookeville, not really sure how long that would last. And that was August of 19. So far, we're still here and enjoying it. A lovely little place to raise a family. So we have started a family, and we've got Caroline. She will be 4 in May.
Cutie patootie.
She's squishy, as Jill likes to often say. She got my genes. And so she'll be 4 in May, and then Patrick will be 2 at the end of June.
Nice.
They're both fun and challenging, but enjoyable. Yeah. So they're good kids. We're very blessed.
I think Cookeville is an interesting way. You say Cookeville, maybe you didn't plan on being here. Cookeville has an interesting way of just like becoming home.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was certainly my experience with Tech, and it's a wonderful community. I want to get into briefly. Tell me, I know both of you are runners. And so tell me, I know, Jeff, I would like to hear briefly. Yeah. We've got a lot to get covered, but you've got a mouth breathing story. We had the episode. Yeah. We had the episode where we talked about misconceptions about people talk about breathing through their nose, and they only breathe through their nose. And I'm like, no. You should absolutely breathe with your mouth. But now Jeff is not a mouth breather. He's a nose breather.
I'm trying to work on my trauma. And so my story of trauma, I was a husky boy, so I hated running for years. The husky genes, that was, and so I enjoyed lifting, right, when I got in middle school. And,
sure.
But Chad had run, and he was like, hey, you want to do a half marathon? So in 2018, trained for my first one, but I was training in the Dominican. And we lived kind of in the middle of nowhere, and we used to have big toads out there that would get killed by the cars that would go up and down the street. Well, what attracts, a dead toad? Man, flies are all about it. So one day I'm just out doing my thing, and I'm just jogging. Mouth breathing is, that is what you're supposed to do, apparently. And fly just happens to come right up, just straight into the mouth. No time to react, swallow. I then puke to the side, finish the run. And have been a nose breather since. So I actually was jogging yesterday, saw Michael, and said, I'm working on my mouth breathing again. But
he yells at me on the road. He's like, I'm mouth breathing.
I'm trying. At least every few breaths get into it. So yeah.
Dog, I had a pterodactyl flew down my throat on the daggum rail trail the other day, and I'm not saying it stopped me in my tracks. I'm like hacking, borderline barfing, and I'm just like, maybe I'm a nose breather now, because it's a bad experience.
You don't want to repeat it.
No. So then I'm running the rest of his mouth is
maybe get something to cover your mouth.
Yes.
We're about to get in the part of the year too where the gnats right.
Oh my gosh, dog! It is, but there's always the beauty of running. There's always something to complain about, and I love that about running. I can always find something to be like, this sucks. No, I'm just kidding. Get into your running experience. I know you.
I do. I run.
Yes.
One of the episodes y'all did early on was like calling yourself a runner, and people have asked me that before. And ever since that episode, I'm a runner.
Yeah.
I'm not a great runner, but I love to run. And I started running around the time that we were, or I guess it was a little bit before, when I moved back to the States, and it really became like my outlet.
Sure.
Like I needed to process a lot of things. I needed to be by myself.
Yes.
I needed to, I love my family dearly. But I spent a lot of, up to the point that we got married, I had a lot of time by myself. I lived in the Dominican for a couple of years, or about a year alone.
Sure.
When not a lot of English speakers around me, at least. And so, it became my outlet. Like this is how I
decompress.
This is how I decompress. This is how I process a lot of things that's going on. This is how I spend a lot of time with God.
Yes.
And it was super important. So I got into it like that. And actually the very first, or toward the beginning of this, I was like, if I set a goal, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
But if I set a goal, I need to start right now, or else I'll forget. And so there's one Christmas, or New Year's, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna run a marathon. And so I decided how much time do I need to train? So I looked it up, and there's nothing close, no marathons happening that were close. And so I just mapped it out myself and ran 26 miles around where I was with no.
26.2.
Here?
Did run. No. I was in Virginia when that happened. It is
But you just ran your own.
I just
He
ran my.
won.
I ran my.
He
I
won.
won. I
First
won.
place.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got a marathon
I got
winner.
a marathon winner right here. Yeah. Yeah. Then I ran the Chicago Marathon a couple of years
He
later.
didn't win Chicago.
He did.
No, there were
Some guys from
80,000,
Kenya and
50,000
Ethiopia.
more runners there.
Yeah.
The Grovewood Way in 2017,
Grovewood, yeah.
18, yeah.
It was amazing. So I haven't done a marathon since Chicago, but running just became a way to decompress, and I love it. I tore my ACL last year.
Yes, I remember.
and
Yeah, of
ever
course.
since then, they were all telling me to go and do weight training and stuff, which is fine, but I hate it.
Yeah.
And I know I need to do it.
Yeah, I hate it.
Because as somebody who runs all the time, like, why don't you do leg day? I run, which is not right. Don't take advice from that. But I get from running, I still just get that place of like, this is my place of peace.
100%. And I think,
love
and
it.
I talk about this, and Dusty's talked about this on so many episodes where, again, I said it when Angie was here. Running to me is transformative. It is a spiritual journey. It is a mental health journey. It is a physical journey. And I've done all the things. I've done the CrossFit. I've done the heavy weightlifting. And I get it. They're important, and I'm not discrediting any of them. But for me, running is just different. And it is a place that you can decompress. Your brain is able to process things. And so that has been my experience. Is that, Jeff, that's been your experience?
So actually kind of Chad invited me to do a half marathon in Nashville. And I was kind of CrossFitter. That's kind of what I did. And I was alone with that. And you do that alone long enough, it's pretty boring.
Yeah.
And I did that for 3 or 4 years in the Dominican by myself. You made the different things that I could figure out there in the middle of nowhere. So I started running, but I would do it in the afternoon. It was my decompress. It was the space to be alone. I'm not good at being alone. Or I wasn't. And so it was an active being alone. And so it started with, I was listening to Harry Potter or whatever,
Sure.
But then it just got to the point of, no, I'm going to just take the earbuds out and
Yes.
just
That
enjoy
changed
it.
my running
And it was
tremendously.
It was different. I mean, I could think about conversations I needed to have, hard conversations with kids as the director of a school, and there's a lot of stress. And it's like, all right, like, let's just go and run for 45 minutes, and I'll just kind of think about it while I'm moving out there. And it was
You find it.
very, And then now, like with kids, like, again, I'm with Chad. Love my kids, spend time with my kids.
Need to
Man,
get out.
it's nice to get out. And I know that I think y'all talked about it. Like me and Jordan, I mean, that was pretty normal. Like, she can look at me in the eyes and just like, you need to go, get out and go on your jog, and I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to finish this when we get back. And guess what? I come back and it's like, oh yeah, we're good.
One thing I've
Yes.
noticed about kids too is if I do that and I find that outlet that I can decompress, it can keep you from saying something that you regret or reacting to a situation in a way that you don't need to. You need to go out. You need to cool the jets.
I need to be proactive to
Yeah.
go run, so I'm not reactive in these situations. It makes me a better father and husband and
Yes.
friend and everything.
Yeah.
For sure.
100%. What are your titles at El Puente?
I'm the executive director.
And so, just the guy.
Whatever, yeah.
And,
Non-prof. Non-prof. You do everything.
Yes.
So whatever.
And so that ties this all together. We're going to talk about the race you guys have got coming up. I want you to tell us how we sign up, how we can be in this thing. But the reason that you have this 5K, it's a fundraiser for El Puente. And to me, what I have found is that runners tend to be, I have found them to be very kind and very inclusive. And the Hispanic Community Center is something that, tell us about it. And I'm going to let y'all tell it. And again, we've got a bunch to get to.
Yeah. So I'll try to be as quick as I can. We're believers. We believe in Jesus. And
Yes.
I don't expect everybody to share my opinions on that, and that's okay. But when I get the opportunity to share, I believe that God created, and if it's day one is 1 and 2, I don't know, but He created humanity at some point. And for me, the way I look at it is that is the greatest act of hospitality that's ever existed. There was a God that created, that welcomed humanity into His world. And so as a believer, I feel, we feel that we have an opportunity to be hospitable because it is exactly the God that we serve. And so El Puente is that. We understand, again, that we live in a different time and a strange time, but we had to maneuver waters of living in a different country, where to find that Pizza Hut pizza, right?
Sure, yeah.
Where to go on the jogs, how to get cash. learning a new language and a culture, and it's not easy. And so we experienced that. We got back here. We were teaching ESL at Jerry Whitson, and there was one lady that just asked Jill and Jordan if she would be their friend. And from our perspective, we said, man, in the kingdom of heaven, there's no loneliness doesn't exist.
Right.
We need to do something about it. So we talk about the idea of being a redemptive presence of Christ in the community, and we said, here we are. We speak Spanish. We've lived in a different culture. We don't understand all of it. We don't claim to. But what we want to do is open up a space at the table for people to belong. And not everybody feels like they belong, whether they're Hispanic or they've gone through addiction or you fill in the blank to what it is. There's a lot of people in this world that don't feel like they belong. And so we want to try to take on the character of who God is and be hospitable to those that are around us. So
It's hard for folks to understand that everybody has the same amount of time. But they have talents, they have treasures that they can use, and it's not the same as everybody else, but it can all benefit that very same thing.
yeah.
And inclusion is something that I have taken for granted my whole life because I have grown up in a community that I look like everybody, I sound like everybody, and my abilities are on par with everyone else. And so when we got into the special needs community, you realize everybody doesn't get to be included. And so when they do get to be included on even just a small thing, they just light up. And they light up, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I've taken this for granted.
Jill, right now, there's a church in town that we're connected with, and they wanted to learn Spanish. So Jill was like, all right, we'll help. So what did Jill do? Hey, let's find a couple of our community members to help. And a couple of those ladies, man, they come in there, and then Leslie, the daughter of one of them, just come in, and they're that way, right? They're included in something bigger than themselves. They have something to offer. They speak Spanish, right?
Let's go.
And it's just giving them, again, a place to play, right? A place to be involved in the local community. And it's been really cool. It's just like a snippet, but that's just that picture of, man, how can you include people to feel at home here while they're here? So,
You know what? I want to say specifically about this community because it's a hard time right now.
Yes,
for that
especially dealing
community.
with what we're talking about,
yes.
with Hispanic community.
I think what I would want people to know about this community is not 100% of them are well upstanding people. Not 100% of any community is like that.
That's right.
But they are good people. And they want the same things that you and I want.
Yes.
They want to love their kids.
Yes.
They want to make a living for themselves.
Yes.
They want to feel safe. And we're trying to help them navigate so that they can do that.
Yes.
And they're good people.
They're not. I think there's this misconception, and I'm not. Again, we're not going to. This is not what this is for. I'm not saying who is saying this, who isn't saying this. They're not the ones that you're talking about. Are not coming here to freeload.
No.
They're coming here to participate in our community. They're wanting to work. They're wanting to. How can I get a driver's license? How can I do these things and become a productive member of your society? They want to learn the language, and so
We have people coming and showing up to ESL consistently for years, and they do. They want to learn. They want to be a part of it, and they want to give back.
And I look at they are my friends from Grandma's Pancake House.
Oh, yeah.
And they are such hardworking people. They are like the American dream.
Yeah.
And it has been so wonderful to get to know them. And I love sitting in there on Saturdays and Sundays, and the place is full. And it's just they are a part of our community.
Yeah.
And so what y'all do is very important. And it's how can they get involved with El Puente? Tell us where they can contact you. How can they support?
So you can. We're located at 849 North Jefferson, and you can. We have a website, elpuentecookeville.org. There's some information on there that would be helpful. There's a lot of our contact information on there, and maybe in the show notes we can put the
Facebook
link and all this stuff like that.
Yes.
But
If you don't know how to spell
there are a lot of ways to get involved. We're always, we need people to help teach English class.
Yeah.
We need people to help just come, serve coffee. We have a weekly event where they come and just have cafecito with us, which if you're in a Hispanic community, you know exactly what that is. It's coffee and snacks, and come and spend time with people, and we build trust.
Yeah.
Because we can just
And
talk with people, and people can come volunteer. Please come. Just like spend some time with people who look a little different than you, and you'll get to know, and you'll get to see that they're just amazing people.
And I also think that we talked about the last episode, making other runners, female runners, feel welcome and just being inclusive and trying to make everyone feel comfortable. I think that everybody listening to this and everybody in the community smiling at our Hispanic friends and waving at our Hispanic friends and just being kind to our Hispanic friends.
Yeah.
Dude, learn one phrase. Though I mean, again, you talk about lighting up. Just give them one phrase, like "Have a good day." If you learn that one phrase in Spanish, or you learn just to say hello, like
Yes.
people, it makes a difference to people.
Yeah.
It makes a difference. To be treated as another human makes a difference.
So just say,
What a novel
give it
idea.
the simplest English, Spanish lesson ever. Just say hola.
Hola.
Just say hola.
Yeah, and that makes such a huge deal. Now we've got why are y'all here? It's a running podcast, and now y'all have a 5K event. Tell us about the 5K event.
So, you've given a few shout outs on the podcast to Blake Shearer. Here's another one.
Yeah.
He came up with this idea. We were actually looking at doing another fundraiser idea, and he came up with it, and it's called the Great Chase Race. And
Very cool idea.
He, I guess he can correct me if I'm wrong, but the idea that he used before in some of his training with some of his runners was send them out and give them a head start. And then after a certain amount of time, he'll chase them down. And if they win,
They get
then,
this.
Yeah. And of course, he's calculated, of course, of what times he wants them to run, things like that. So we have the Great Chase Race. And so that's what we do. We send runners out.
Yes.
And then we got a runner or a few runners behind them that'll chase them down. And if you beat them, then you get a prize.
Yeah.
I heard 5-time Upper Cumberland.
Well, I don't.
Apparently, big signature. Could be six. Could be six if it weren't for Christian.
Yeah.
Oh, and
His head getting.
Sorry, just had to get that.
Christian
down.
Rowe, if you're listening. Yeah,
His
Christian, I'm
nemesis.
coming for you, Christian, even though you're much young. Listen, Christian's much younger than me. He smoked way less cigarettes than I have. So get Christian on a steady diet of 20 cigarettes for the next 10 years and then come see me. I'm kidding. Christian, I'm kidding. You're amazing. But seriously, how did y'all ever get the 5-time Upper Cumberland Haunted Half champion to agree to this?
I don't know. That is a great question. I think it was Blake and honestly though, Michael, I will say, like, I think he suggested it, and John had been. I don't know if we had gotten our bean mug yet.
I think
at the
maybe,
point that
yeah.
we started this,
Yeah.
but we were like, well, let's go try to get to know this guy.
Yeah.
And but it's been really cool to get to know you and your family and the family at the Exceptional Being to do that, and so Blake made that happen, and
I know exactly when the drive-through bell goes off. I know it's y'all. Like
I
can
time
I
every
can set
day.
my watch by
Same time every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So last year you came on. This is the first year. Dusty came on.
Yes.
Second year to chase
Jennifer.
them. Jen
Jen
Shope.
Shope.
Mayor Wheaton.
Mayor
with
Wheaton
the-
chased down the
Mayor
kids.
Mayor
last
Wheaton.
year.
Yes, shout out Mayor
Yeah.
Wheaton. I think this thing is it was so much fun. I think it's going to continue to grow. And I hope it continues. What's the date this year? Do y'all have a date?
We do. It's September 13th.
Okay,
so
maybe we got a chance at having some cooler temps.
Some cooler temps.
Yeah,
We moved
in
it back
August,
a little
let's
bit. So
hope.
it's been in August the last couple of years, but September 15th, right in mid-September, that's when the start of Hispanic Heritage Month is.
Very
And
cool.
so since it's supporting a Hispanic community center, let's celebrate Hispanic heritage and kick it off with a fun race.
I dig it. Have we nailed down any chasers this year?
We haven't yet. We haven't talked to them yet.
Okay.
But I'm looking at some really good candidates, and it's not me and Chad.
We're really trying to find somebody really famous, but we haven't.
That hurts.
That
That hurts, Chad.
there was a rumor that we were maybe going to reach out to Christian.
Yeah.
Get
Just
your
kidding.
things and get out, guys.
and go.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you
And I
guys.
cannot say enough about what y'all do at El Puente, and it is so needed right now, and it's so appreciated. And so this is a wonderful community, and I think this is just a piece of it that makes it that much more wonderful.
Yeah.
We do. We
El
live in- we live
Puente
in a great
means the
community.
bridge. So if it's with the Hispanic community, if it's with disabilities, no matter what it is, keep building bridges out there.
100%. Yeah, the more you can include people, the better, because it's something that a lot of us take for granted.
They want to be a part of this community just like everybody else
Dog.
does, because this is a great community.
It is great.
I mean, that's the reason why so many people, I think, end up coming back full circle to Cookeville.
Yeah. Willow Window.
Thank
Shout
you, Willow
out,
Window.
John.
Thanks. Thanks, Brittany.
Express Footwear and Running.
Footwear. Sight and Sound.
That's Jimmy.
Creative. Jimmy. He's on the ones and twos. El Puente. thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank y'all for being
guys.
here. Runner Dudes Coaching, Runner Dudes Podcast.
Don't
Check
forget
us
the Great
out.
Chase.
Yeah. Oh,
Chase
yeah.
Way.
So yeah. So we've got
September 13th.
September 13th. We're gonna have some stuff in the technical stuff, so you can figure out how you
Bring out the family, have fun.
Yes, it's a good time. Haunted Half Marathon is coming up October 25th.
Freedom 5K.
Freedom 5K is coming up around the 4th of July. I will get a date on that soon. And so there's all sorts of opportunities to participate in our wonderful community. Thanks, guys.
Thank y'all.
The Runner Dudes podcast is sponsored by Express Footwear and Runner Dude Coaching and Consulting. Produced by Jimmy Thorpe at sightandsoundcreative.com.